Hey everybody, welcome to today's Faster Friday. And on today's Faster Friday, we're going to talk about RTP, real-time payments, and OFAC, the Office of Foreign Asset Control. I've gotten the question, what is required when it comes to OFAC and RTP? Well, I of course went to the RTP operating rules, and if you go to the RTP operating rules, what are you going to find? There's a section on OFAC's compliance program. A participant must have a written OFAC compliance program reasonably designed to promote and monitor compliance with OFAC sanctions and regulations. Now, here's the big question, because it's just that real small paragraph. What does that mean when it comes to real-time payments? Does that mean you have to scan every single transaction? No, the law just says you have to have a compliance program in place. Every transaction that a U.S. financial institution engages in is subject to OFAC regulations. That's just a fact. If a bank or a credit union knows that they have a party that is involved in a transaction that violates OFAC, then that would be an unlawful transaction, and that's something that they would have to deal with. There's no legal or regulatory requirement to use software to scan. There's no requirement except to not violate the law by doing business with a target or failing to block a party that is subject to OFAC sanctions. And RTP real-time payments will give little information to scan against. That's not necessarily true. It all depends on what is going to be added with it. We'll see the same information as far as like account number information, routing number information, and amount that we see in a lot of basic transactions. What does it really mean? It means that you're going to have to also see, is there any additional information that's supplied with it? Because there is additional information that can be sent with it. You're going to have to apply your KYC or know your customer rules. I would ask that you show me where it's written that it says you have to scan every RTP, because when I bring this up, a lot of people ask me questions about this. In fact, one of the things I reference you to is going to be an FAQ that I think is incredibly helpful, and it's from NACHA. It's actually in the NACHA IET Resource Information Center. Now, when we work with certain transactions, especially ones that are international, there is definitely a requirement for doing some scanning, some OFAC scanning. So with ACH and only IETs, let me stress that again, with ACH and only IETs, we do have the requirement of doing the scanning at the time that we send it out, get it out of our hands, or we receive it coming in. Otherwise, when it comes to OFAC scanning, general practices that I know in the industry are you will scan the person against the OFAC SDN, Secure Designated Nationals database, at the time of account opening, and you'll do regular scans according to BSA AML requirements on your database, usually about once a month or every 30 days, to be able to see if one of your account holders or somebody who's sending and receiving payments has something to do with or is on the OFAC SDN list. But for the time of processing, I know nothing that would say that a real-time payment would have to have OFAC screening at the time of sending or receiving. And that's primarily because these are domestic payments. If they were international payments, I would say that a lot differently. I know with international wires, yes, we do see OFAC screening taking place. I know with international ACH or IATs, yes, we do see the screening taking place at the time of sending and the time of receiving. But with a real-time payment, I do not see a need to have to scan each and every payment at the time it's sent or at the time that it's received, because again, these are domestic payments. You will be scanning your account holders at the time that you open the account and on a regular basis. Therefore, if they were to show up on the OFAC SDN list, you would know from other methods, and I do not, again, opinion of the payments professor, understand or see where people are coming from saying that you're going to have to scan every RTP transaction for OFAC compliance. I just don't see it that way. I do believe you will have to practice general standards or sound business practices when it comes to OFAC, but again, not have to scan every single entry as it goes through. Now, if you got any questions, got any comments, you disagree with me, please put them in the comments below. You can send me a message here on LinkedIn, or you can also email me, kevin@paymentsprofessor.com. Otherwise, have a fantastic Faster Friday.